Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Some of you may be familiar with the tale of the Emperor's New Clothes. It's a children folk tale of a vain and pompous emperor who ended up exposing himself because of his vanity. He was conned by conmen to believe he's wearing a golden robe and made himself a laughingstock. I think Zimbabwe's Emmerson Mnangagwa has become the modern day emperor. He is becoming an embarrassment. Here is a video of one of the latest.
With the West or the East, what is primarily important is what we do with. We don't need to please ourselves.
Good. That.
Ben, did you hear that?
Good day to you and good day to our viewers. Thank you for joining us. Yes, I had the opportunity to follow the whole, conversation, and you can find the entire, discourse on YouTube. So the question here was, do you find, the trade and the relationship that you have with China or the East better than the one that you had with the West? And, like you said, pompous as he says, we don't care who we deal with as long as it pleases us. But then you got to ask, Mr. President, you are with the Chinese right now, and these are the biggest investors in Zimbabwe, and we can see the people of Zimbabwe. I mean, there is videos that are circulating all over social media that the Chinese are treating, Zimbabweans badly, and sometimes it goes to as far as killing each other. Now the question is, we do what is best for us. Who is us? I think this is somebody that really does not understand what is going on with the people and his country. And I don't blame him, because why I'm saying this is, at one point he says, he did not even know the state of our hospital when he paid, an abrupt, visit at Parinya to a hospital. So this is somebody that is saying he's doing things that are good for us as Zimbabweans, but clearly does not know that Zimbabweans are not happy with the type of trade and deals with the Chinese.
Well, the truth of the matter is, in this particular case, to keep saying that we please ourselves. The truth of the matter is that Zimbabwe is a failed state. Our hospitals, our roads, you name it, they are all in a dilapidated state. And because of our failure to govern ourselves, that has actually opened the door for outsiders to come in. And so to keep emphasizing that we are we are pleasing ourselves, we don't have to please the East or the West, we are pleasing ourselves, is, to say the least, naive. Because by failing to govern yourselves, they have allowed others from outside, in this particular case, the Chinese in particular, to come in. But not only the Chinese. I believe that this gathering actually was somewhere in the Middle East, and one of the documentaries that we have covered on this program was the billions of dollars Zimbabwean gold that is being looted through some of those Middle East countries. They've come in to exploit you. You are not pleasing them, they are pleasing themselves. And you are in denial of what is happening. This is the tragedy of Zimbabwe.
You know, if you were to put the facts and statistics on the ground, you would easily see that, you know, President Mnangagwa is lying. I mean, we give, for example, China. Zimbabwe owes billions and billions of debt to China. And whatever the Chinese are mining in Zimbabwe, they are taking back to China as raw material or nearly raw material. Zimbabwe has vast minerals, and China has been working on those minerals. And when you look at what stats show, it shows that the Zimbabwean, ordinary Zimbabwean out there is living under or just about $1 a day. And then you go to China, how much are they living on a day? This is where you have to look and say, who's pleasing who here? Are we pleased with the situation that we find ourselves in, where we are living in abject poverty? So, Mr. President, please spare us. Don't say that, you know, we are pleasing ourselves. Nobody is pleased with the current situation in Zimbabwe. We are right at the bottom of the food chain. And unfortunately, it is the depth that the ZANU-PF government has taken us into. And this money that they're borrowing is not for development. It is to please themselves. And I think this is why he used that word. What pleases us? They are pleased because they are spending on much wealth, on vehicles, on, you know, an unnecessary things, while the Zimbabwean is living in that kind of shelter. Clearly, this man is talking nonsense.
Who will tell the king that he has no clothes? I think it's a question that has been raised in Zimbabwe politics. In Zimbabwe, we have failed to tell Mnangagwa that he is just a corrupt, incompetent, and utterly useless buffoon, because he is able to blatantly rig the elections. ZANU-PF has managed to stay in power this last 46 years and counting because the regime is able to rig the elections. And that has been our root problem. As much as the people of Zimbabwe tried to get a competent opposition that will implement the democratic reforms, That, as we have said countless times on this platform, has failed to bring the desired results because the opposition sold out. And now we are stuck with a corrupt, incompetent, and utterly useless ZANU-PF dictatorship, complete with its MDC-CCC sidekick. And Mnangagwa is going around the world naked. And we as a nation have become a laughingstock. None of the people in that audience believed that Zimbabwe is not there to please the East or the West, that we are pleasing ourselves. Who doesn't know of the millions of Zimbabweans who have left the country either as economic refugees and or political refugees? Who doesn't know of the looting of the nation's wealth and how many foreigners are benefiting from that looting at the expense of the ordinary people? And yet he keeps on pretending that Zimbabwe is doing well. Nobody's fooled by that.
It is quite unfortunate that, you know, as Zimbabweans or many Zimbabweans out there, they sacrificed a lot, you know, in giving the opportunity to the opposition as a way out. But now only to find out that the opposition is actually in bed with ZANU-PF. What they are simply doing is rocking the boat gently, not to cause too much strife and tension with the big bosses, because that is where they are getting paid. I mean, recently we have been hearing so many exposés of how the MDC-CCC has been benefiting from this participating in rigged elections. There has always been a stake or a price in the end. And this includes the likes of Chamisa, who have benefited from ZANU-PF. He got given 2 farms, you know, and so many other perks that are involved. Our problem here is, you know, we could say we are like Boxer from the animal farm. This is the problem with Zimbabweans. Our failure to think for ourselves, our failure to see the facts as they are, or our own denial, where we have also joined the likes of Mnangagwa, living in a cocoon, where you try to tell the world that Zimbabwe is doing things for its own benefit. And when they look behind the scenes, or they look at the child at the door, it tells you the exact opposite of your claims. So it's very, very sad when you see a full-grown man who is supposed to be the leader of a country stands up and says, everything we are doing for the benefit of Zimbabwe. We all know that is a lie, because the ordinary Zimbabwean out there is surviving on less than $1 a day.
Zimbabwe is a failed state. And to say we are masters of our own destiny is totally meaningless, because the ordinary people of Zimbabwe would have not engineered the situation where they are being forced to live in abject poverty. That is the truth. And to keep on appearing on public arenas and proclaiming that Zimbabwe is doing well is just nonsense.